Australia's astronomical community is 5 years into its regular decadal plan. It's today's Talkin' Science Story of the Week. I'm Matt Miller. You're on Trekzone.
With the latest science and space news 5 days a week across Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts and YouTube. This is Talkin' Science with Dr. Brad Tucker and Matt Miller.
Alrighty, Brad, our last story of the week, and it is more interesting than it sounds, I promise, but the MidTerm review of Australia's astronomy plan has been released.
That's right, and this is actually an important thing, and this is something that astronomers in the US and Australia have been doing for decades, and that is that instead of everyone trying to go to the government or various funding agencies to get your own pet project done, the community comes together, does a review and says, all right, what are the top priorities across as many things involving as many people, and kind of settle on a list. And then that happens every decade, and obviously there's 5 years through it. You review that plan to say, are we on track? Has a new complete science come in the past 5 years that we should shift focus on? Have other things come into play? And then kind of give an update. And this is quite one of the reasons why space and astronomy comes together quite well, is we say we know our projects are big, but we're going to agree on only a few that's going to benefit as many people as possible, instead of us competing against each other, working together, even if it's not our direct science, to overall progress astronomy and space.
And this is very cool because it's looking at the achievements that we've made in the last 5 years. And as you say, sort of re-evaluating and realigning if required. But the ASCAP array, the Murchison Wide Field Array, the Square Kilometre Array, they've all contributed to global astronomical studies. We've found missing matter, we've found fast radio bursts, we're also looking at gravitational waves. There's so much going on in the field of astronomy. And as I was talking to you off air, we've been focusing on in the industrial side of the Aussie space industry this month here on a Trekzone Conversation. But there is still that astronomical side of it, the scientific side of it, that is going on and making huge leaps and bounds.
Well, it's big, and it's bigger than the industrial side, right? And it's fueling that industry side, and it's because we're doing the fundamental research needed to get into these things. And as you said, there are just science things that are happening now that weren't really on the radar 5 years ago. 5 years ago when the report was written, we had just found gravitational waves. They just become a thing. We haven't even discovered the first neutron stars colliding. There's been all sorts of things. Some space telescopes were working, some hadn't even been launched, planetary missions, all of it. And so it's coming together to show, all right, we've done a lot. That's great. It's kind of also a check-in. Are we actually using the money that we're getting well? Can we do it better? And the science progresses, and it progresses fast, as we've talked about. So you want to make sure you're staying up to date and benefiting as much people as possible in the community, and beyond just the science, to make sure our facilities are up to scratch and the people are up to scratch. Are we disadvantaging one community and we're not working with them? The lack of diversity and STEM in our fields, which is a big issue. All these little things add up that we need to address. And so it's a check-in on those issues. And
another achievement in the last 5 years is Australia entering into a strategic partnership with the European Southern Observatory, which is a 16-nation intergovernmental research organisation, all about ground-based astronomy.
That's right, and this is a big benefit. Instead of just operating our own telescope in Australia, joining with a bigger partner in the Southern Hemisphere. And by doing that, we can get more science, we have more facilities, and also more people using our facilities as well. And so it all comes together, and it all works and relates quite nicely. And it's all about maximizing the science. And, that agreement started in July 2017. I remember it because it was announced at the conference I organized, and it's paid dividends already, and how do we continue those partnerships? So there's lots of these different things that are on the radar. Lots of different science happening, and you just want to make sure that we're getting best bang for our buck.
Brad, as an astrophysicist here in Australia, and having this review come out, is that sort of your experience here with how things are going with worldwide cooperation? Is there anything that you hope we do in the next 5 years?
I think there's some things related to what facilities we should build, the science that we should get in, education, outreach, and also linking with things like the space agency. The space agency didn't exist when the report started. It now exists. There's overlap between those communities. So it's making sure that the communities of fundamental research and also industry overlap, but also coordinate together. And I think that's one of the big touches that needs to happen on. Instead of trying to fight each other in different communities, make sure we even reach wider than just astrophysics and space and technology and industry. We do a bit more together because we can combine efforts and make really big impact. And we see when we do that well, and it does amazing things.
Awesome, Brad. Well, on the next episode, we're going to be putting this all together in our live and uncut show. So we'll catch you for that one then.
Sounds good.